somewhere beyond the sea. She's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing.
The network premiere of Finding Nemo and Shrek 2, a double bill from 3:10 today on BBC One.
The news this Christmas Day now on BBC One with Jane Hill.
Hello, a very good afternoon to you and a very happy Christmas. The Archbishop of Canterbury has used his Christmas sermon to urge people to do more to protect the environment. Dr. Rowan Williams said that the earth is under threat from human greed and selfishness. And in the Vatican, thousands of pilgrims have gathered to hear the Pope deliver his Christmas blessing. Alan Little reports.
At Canterbury Cathedral, worshippers gathered to hear the leader of the worldwide Anglican Communion speak of the Christian's duty to the planet, the obligation of the spiritual to the temporal world. The message of Christmas, he said, was about God's love for creation. The Christian's clear duty was this:
to begin to be committed to that reverent guardianship of this richness that is more and more clearly required of us as we grow in awareness of how fragile all this is. How fragile is the balance of species and environments in the world, and how easily our greed distorts it.
In the thin winter sunshine of St. Peter's Square in Rome, thousands of pilgrims gathered to hear Pope Benedict XVI. His Christmas Day blessing, Urbi et Orbi, to the city and to the world, offers those who hear it, in person or on television or radio, the remission of all temporal punishment for sin.
May the birth of the Prince of Peace remind the world where its true happiness lies, and may your hearts be filled with hope and joy, for the Savior has been born for us.
Speaking in 63 languages, the Pope lamented what he called the grim sound of arms in the world's conflict zones, especially Iraq, Lebanon and the Holy Land. He prayed that political leaders would seek and find just, humane and lasting solutions to deliver the world from the darkness of poverty, injustice and war. Alan Little, BBC News.
The Queen is spending Christmas Day at Sandringham with other members of the royal family. They attended church together this morning, and our correspondent Colette Hume is there for us. Colette, who was there this morning?
All the major members of the royal family, and they were greeted by a crowd of more than 500 people who braved the wind and the rain here at Sandringham. We saw Her Majesty the Queen, Prince Philip, we saw Prince Edward, who was asked how Sophie, his wife, is following the birth of their second child. He said, absolutely fine. We also saw Prince Charles, the Duchess of Cornwall, and the royal grandchildren, Princess Eugenie and Beatrice of York. So a very good turnout here for the royal family, who went back to the big house at Sandringham for lunch and are probably, like millions of other people across the UK, eating their turkey dinner as we speak.
And we seem to know quite a lot, Colette, about how they then spend the rest of the afternoon.
Well, again, like millions of other people, both here in the UK and around the world, at 3 o'clock, they will settle down to watch the Queen's Christmas broadcast. The only chance, really, she has in the year to speak directly to her people. And we know from Prince Andrew that the Queen herself often removes herself to another room within the house to watch that broadcast alone. This year, particularly significant, it marks 50 years since Her Majesty made her first televised broadcast. This year, she's expected to recognise the efforts of our armed forces in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Colette Hume, thank you. Well, at least 20 people have been killed in a suicide bomb attack in Iraq. 80 more were wounded in the blast outside a residential complex in Beji, 150 miles north of the capital, Baghdad. 3 of the victims are thought to be children. Thousands of British servicemen and women are spending Christmas Day in difficult and dangerous conditions. For the troops on the front line in Helmand province in Afghanistan, it's business as usual. Our defence correspondent Caroline Wyatt and cameraman Christian Parkinson are embedded with the Royal Marines at Forward Operating Base Gibraltar.
Christmas morning in Afghanistan. For Delta Company, 40 Commando, the Royal Marines, the day starts with a dawn patrol. The Royal Marines are new to this area. They set up their latest forward operating base here only a few days ago, so they're still testing the ground to see who's hostile and who's friendly. Today, it seems, the Taliban have no intention of offering peace on this bit of earth.
We're getting engaged from about 200 metres away, a compound over to the northeast, basically with RPG and small fire. Merry Christmas as well.
4 hours later, dusty, dirty, but with no casualties, the Marines return to base and prepare to celebrate Christmas. The Christmas service wasn't perhaps quite the traditional one, but the Marines sang with gusto as they stood outdoors in the middle of this austere camp on the front line. This carol service is the one chance that the Marines and the medics here have to really celebrate Christmas today. And even though they're thousands of miles away from their friends and family back at home, working and living in difficult and often dangerous conditions, morale here remains high. And there's a further boost to morale as a special Christmas lunch parcel is handed out to every man here, containing some welcome surprises. And then it's back to business as usual here on the front line, fighting to restore peace to Afghanistan. Caroline Wyatt, BBC News, with 40 Commando Royal Marines in Helmand Province.
Well, of course, you can see more on all those stories over on BBC News 24, and I'll be back with the latest here on BBC One at 6:05 this evening. Until then, I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.
Hello there. Sleet at Glasgow Airport is the closest we've got to White Christmas so far today, but I think some northern hills could see something a little more significant later on today and overnight. Initially it'll be rain, I think, moving in across Northern Ireland through this evening, but as that rain pushes across Scotland, it will fall quite readily as snow over high ground, maybe the Pennines and North Wales getting a dusting as well over the highest tops. But as that clears away, things could turn quite icy as temperatures dip away under clearing skies later in the night. Not a bad start to Boxing Day though for Northern Ireland. There will be some sunshine around, reasonably mild too. But across Scotland, the next batch of rain beginning to move in could start off as snow. And as I mentioned, there could well be some ice around, particularly across central and eastern parts of Scotland. The ground's still quite cold after that recent very chilly snap. Moving down across northern England, a chill in the air to start the day, but a few sunny spells beginning to break through. But a very different day for the Midlands, for East Anglia and the South East particularly, where it's been rather damp today so far. Much brighter skies tomorrow, with the sunshine extending across the southwest and into Wales as well. A little bit more cloud around, maybe just pushing into those western coast and hills of Wales, some patchy low cloud, but essentially it's England and Wales that get the best deal for getting out and about on Boxing Day. Across Scotland and Northern Ireland, the winds will be picking up, the cloud will be thickening too. Quite a wet day eventually over western Scotland, some rain getting into Northern Ireland as well with time, but most places fairly mild at 9 or 10 degrees. It stays mild for the rest of the week, but increasingly unsettled. That's all from me. Merry Christmas.
We're over the moon next on BBC One with a grand day out for Wallace and Gromit.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
There's more to EastEnders this Christmas on BBC One.
A rundown of 2007's top-selling singles, the Top of the Pops Christmas special here on BBC One at 1:30. But first, it's one small step for man, one giant leap for a dog.